Good morning, everybody. I'm sorry I slept so long yesterday. I needed it. Very tough, late night flights, all of it. But I want to do this video. It's so important. I'm going to do a better slideshow presentation. I may upload to YouTube so it's there forever. It really is the elites, those with the wealth, those who've transferred the wealth to themselves using the public system, the central system, which means pretty much tax slaves or those with limited capacity to choose where their taxes go via representatives, whether elected, appointed, or what have you. It's very bad, this taxation without representation in Canada, but it's also too bad no matter where you go in the world. You'll find this old system, old world order, it really dominates the world stage. USA has many checks and balances. Unlike any other country in the world, they've ran that system for a very, very long time. They have global value and supply chains like nobody else. They achieved those through military dominance, nothing more, nothing less. And it's a very naive belief. You see it with lots of countries. Canada, most Canadians, I see it regionally, no matter which province. You expect that the world's just going to take unto you all that which you supply at your demand, and they're just going to accept that. You don't have to worry about security, how those lines work, your shipping routes, shipping vessels, all of it. People naively think that you can go out tens of thousands of miles with your products and that's just going to happen without any hiccups, without any bumps, without any issue. And that's just not true. More than that, there are internal trade blocks that require military power, military enforcement. This is real geopolitical politics that a lot of folks walk away from. They don't even care. International law don't even care. We have AI, a tool that's being manipulated compulsively by its creators. Grok is no different. Elon Musk got massive backlash over his Grok AI. You can go on Facebook. It's got issues now too. No surprise. As you're developing, as you're influencing it, as you're downloading into it, giving it new areas, new avenues to look at by credible, real sources, these elites don't like that. Next you know, they're even censoring the AI, creating a system where the AI forgets within 3 questions. It's like ask the genie 3 questions, because within the 4th question, you have a new AI that doesn't even know what you were just talking about. Now, Grok has been given limited memory, but it's controlled too. I see the resets whenever it's straying off a narrative that's been assigned to it. I see it, I catch it. I've spent actually quite a bit of what limited time I had this weekend going through that. And it's scary, everybody. It is absolutely scary. But I've already got Grok AI. Already have it. It's already screenshotted. I'll be publishing that. Basically dispelling and myth-busting Elon Musk, who's really pigeonholed in one view of the United States, created a negative view of the United States, pretty much saying that the USA's done for, they're unsustainable. And when you look at what cuts have been made to taxes and where public investment's going in the United States, it only strengthens global influence, global value and supply chains, energy security in the United States, independence really, massive independence on resources. In fact, doubling their longevity, changing purchasing narratives of the population in America, the strongest economy in the world. And what Elon doesn't tell you, a lot of folks are not going to tell you because they're rich, wealthy, and elite, because they're getting a massive wealth transfer from all of you. Elon generates massive money. He's the richest man in the world. 90% of that money comes from the public purse. He's the biggest socialist. This is undeniable. He's the biggest beneficiary of socialism because, folks, his SpaceX, his Tesla, all of it wouldn't even exist or be where it is without that government influx. Massive government influx. His brain works, his medical, all comes from taxpayers or debt loading the American taxpayers. Oh yes, he is the definition of socialism. Socialist sponge. Now, I'm not saying the things he does aren't worthy. All I'm saying is his genius is, how do I get on the public tit? And he is. Because his success rate does not yield money, not at this point in time. He's in fact way in the hole, yet his expansion of his businesses are huge. His net value's huge. Created largely, again, where? By the public purse. That in the private sector, he wouldn't exist in any of those realms. Because there's no generation of wealth for anybody. It's taken from people. That's what public sector does. Elon, that's his genius. How to be a supersized socialist. He doesn't tell you that in the private primary sector, how those goods get out to market through the USA comes absolutely from their mighty military. That 60% of the world, that's a huge population, well beyond the United States of America, more than 15 times its size and effect, which means that's a lot of economies are running on USD, trading on USD global security. That means USA must protect that financial system. They need the military to do that. Otherwise, they wouldn't have it. That's a reality. Wouldn't have all these value and supply chains for all their products. Wouldn't have a $31 trillion economy. In fact, their economy would shrink down as Grok even analyzes. Oh, USA would be in big trouble. They'd be down to a $23 trillion economy. They'd lose between 30 and 40% of their economy if they cashed in all their chips. What happens if they cash in all their global chips? What if USA doesn't protect absolutely entirely a country like South Korea, the European Union, African states, the Middle East, and on and on, and all these island states everywhere? They're all former colonials. What would happen if USA gave all that up? Yes, they would retract, but so would all their debt at that GDP level too. And when you look at that, they go down to a 70% debt to GDP ratio, meaning they can sustain if they call her quits. And largely they're unaffected because they still have the military might to back up everything else. In fact, it's even larger. They could just walk away from everybody and they would still need USA. In fact, everybody they walk away from can't cash in the USA chips. With what army? They're lucky they won't be wiped out immediately by another power. You don't think Russia couldn't take over the entire European Union if there was no United States of America? If you took USA out of that equation, or even the Middle East and the former Ottoman Empire, and we can go on, the Asian world and China, do you think any of these holding USA debt would make it one day, let alone a week, if USA said, hey, you know what, we're pulling out everything, you're right, we owe you money and you owe us money, and we also have all these strategically placed militaries where you're not paying your share, and we just call our day. We're not going to get rid of our military, we're just not going to be funding your systems anymore. We're going to keep all of our equipment. We're going to only use it for trade and value systems for us. If they did that, all these countries go down the toilet. Way worse off than the United States. Grok will tell you this. And this is what Elon Musk won't showcase to you. This is what these radical rhinos, this one side of the libertarians, which is Elon Musk, he's on that crazy side of libertarians, which is a nutty version of the Democrats. And I've always known this about Elon Musk. Libertarian Party is divided in half. Half radical Democrats, where they believe the right to take whatever property from anybody you want, squat wherever you want. That doesn't work. Individual sovereignty must be supreme. This is the Canadian system and mentality of thinking for what, again? A wealthy set of elites where over 90%, in fact, it's about 95% of Canada sits in their hands. 5% they rent out to the bulk of Canadians. Super overinflated. Almost 90% is theirs for them and their friends to exploit all over the world. They would love to have this for the whole world. And if you thought that that's communism, no, that's always been crown monarchical. Way worse than communism. Communism came after monarchies, but they still too. We're just going to take land away from the elites because the rest of us didn't have land. I know my ancestors came from Europe many, many generations, more than a century and then some ago. They came here before this Alberta that Grok keeps putting in my face, and I keep going, can we stay on the topic at hand? That's where you know this is controlled. It's not true AI. But folks, when my ancestors came to these lands, on that initial release, that is pretty much all there is and all there has been. There's been very, very minute pieces of that original arrangement of open door to negotiate. Very tiny, tiny amounts. Percentage points over 150 years is all that's been released. And people don't see it, they don't get it. But that system where nobody owned nothing, the bulk of the average everyday Jones owned nothing. The crown had it all. And that's what they want for us today. It's an old world order system. Communism said, we're going to take away all the land from everybody, and everyone's going to get an equal portion, and we'll control and run it, and we'll keep most of it out of the hands of everybody. And of course, that doesn't work because you still have the regime who's taking everything. You see it. Billionaire, trillionaire wannabe elites who have no business doing that, and you stifle the bulk of the population. It's why America's system is the most powerful in the world and why everyone's jealous and why most elites want that destroyed, because it actually limits the creation of wealth hoarding and suppression of the masses, which doesn't lead to more growth as humanity. If you let everybody have their piece and you can remove monopolies and everyone has that fair shot, and yes, the cream rises to the top, and yes, it's harder to make millionaires and billionaires, but that's how it should be. That's a more competitive system, a fair system where everybody, regardless of what they're born into or the situation they have, they can grow out of it. These other models keep you limited in your class. They keep you there and they keep you down. So you can't develop, you can't contribute to the evolution of a system like the United States of America. Love it or hate it, it evolves. And Grok and other AI will contribute to that too and say, well, yeah, that's true. Let's look at all these other countries. Have they evolved with their people at all? Sometimes in thousands of years, and the answer is no. But yet we see America evolve quickly, fast. Human rights, civil rights, still evolving. You can time manage that. Does Canada evolve? No. It's the same old garbage since day one in the same old system, and the same elites have everything while the bulk has nothing with no ability to get there. And in fact, it's getting worse and worse as the population expands. These crazy notions that radical immigration must continue so we have more wealth transfer to as the few as possible. We'll have a bulk of people living shittier and shittier generation after generation. This is that radical libertarian agenda, which is way over on the left side of the equation. It's about power and control. It's the opposite of rights and freedoms. Remember, when somebody tells you that a set of rights and freedoms must come at the absolute expense of others' rights and freedoms, that's not a right or freedom at all. That's called autocracy. That's called subjugation. That's called compression of peoples. And that's absolutely what monarchical systems are. So these folks on this side of libertarianism are not real libertarians. It's a false narrative. It always has been. And it's amazing that people say that. Just because somebody champions a group of rights at the expense of others' rights, that means you have no rights at all. That's autocracy. Because you can't have your rights without taking away somebody else's. That's not a free, fair, equality system. That's assigned equity. That means you're taking certain things away from somebody else to hand over special rights to somebody else. And when you do that, you don't have an equal system. America's been very, very good at pursuing equality. Are there constant attacks on it? Sure. Is it perfect? No. But it's the best model available in the world. Grok answers this and even says, yes, Elon's skewed. Yes, Elon's pigeonholed in one avenue. And the only explanation you can get from that is he's still Canadian. He's still South African. Same mentality, because he was never dismembered. And none of his family was. They left South Africa in their mindset. A mindset that most Canadians are raised and reared into. They believe wholeheartedly. They think they have this country. They think they have these resources, but we don't. We're locked out of a tremendous amount of it. The powers of sovereignty are between a federal central system or regional central systems. Either way, neither includes me or you. None of us. And until people wake up to that, we're epically screwed. This whole world is epically screwed, and it always will be. That's my video. Got to get to work. Share, share, share. I'm going to do a better, more professional one, slideshow. But that one I'm going to put on YouTube, and we're going to save that forever. God bless. Enjoy your day. Bye now.